Okay, we're going to start our Parashat Shavua, Netivot Shalom, page Kuf Chaf Chet. Chayey Sara, unbelievable, right? We just started the Reshit and it's already deep into it. You know, I think we should have at least the first two parshiot, like Bereshit and Noach, for maybe like a month, not to run it so quickly. So, מותה Sarah, the death of Sarah. והיו חיי שרה 100 שנה ו20 שנה ו7 שנים שני חיי. So, like, the two lives of Sarah were 120 years and 7 years, both of them. הנה בפרשה זו רבו הדקדוקים. So there were like many מפרשים were trying to be very accurate. They look at the verses of the psukim. First, למה נמנו שני חיי שרה? Why are we counting two lives for Sarah that we didn't find in the rest of the imaot, right? עוד, מהו כפל אומרו שני חיי שרה? Like why it says, ויהיו חיי שרה 100 שנה ושני חיי, right? It's already like, it's double, it's extra. Why twice? And Rashi explained, he said, oh, to show you that כולם שווים לטובה, they were all equal in the goodness. but we still need to explain, according to that, okay, fine. What's the reason? מה טעם סיפרה לנו התורה, העניין זה שכולם שווים לטובה, ולא מצאנו מקום אחר. כן. That, okay, so why the Torah was bothering to mention us that her two lives were really great, really good, right? And we didn't find in other places. וכן יש לומר, and also, למה בדכתיב, right? After she died, Abraham Avinu was crying. But it says, למה דכתיב, why the Torah was written, לבכותה בכף זעירה. The half of crying is like a tiny half. וכתב בבעל הטורים. So he wrote, okay, so the בעל הטורים wrote that, oh, why Avraham Avinu didn't really cry? Like he cried, but a little bit. לפי שזקנה הייתה, because she was old. You're listening, Mordechai? Like, she was old. You are old. So Avraham Avinu didn't cry much because, you know, she's old. She was supposed to die. Wasn't so, it's not a surprise for somebody that is in his 127 years, you know. How do you greet somebody that having his 120th birthday? Have a great day, right? So this is what the Baal Torah comes in. Also, we need to explain why the Torah was mentioning, like again, the Torah is infinite, right? So all the stories and everything that we have in the Torah, it was not like a bedtime story or a fairy tale or a story that happened a long time ago and that's it. It's something that we take to our day-to-day for generation. It's infinite and Sophie. So why the Torah is telling us? And Rashi, it says, על לספוד לשרה ולבכותה כתב, so he wrote, נסמכה מיתת שרה לעקדת יצחק. So the parsha, right, end with the Akedah. And then now this one is starting with the death of Sarah, and we always know that there is a connection to the parshiot, like one end, the other one start, the one that starts have a direct connection. So Rashi explained, and in the art scroll, they interpreted or they translated totally different. Rashi explained why she died, because she heard about the Akedah, that Yitzchak was taken to be slaughtered, and he was almost wasn't slaughtered. Like he was not perfect to be slaughtered. And that's why she died. But the art scroll said that she heard that he was slaughtered and she died because of that. Right? So, and we need to explain why Rashi wrote that, על לספוד לשרה ולבכותה, to have a eulogy for Sarah and to cry. Because he needed to explain, right, why these parshiot are close to each other. The death of Sarah to the Akedah. And in the beginning of the pasuk, it says, Vatomet Sarah, the Sarah died. And the essence and the main thing of the Rashi explaining, we need to understand how is it possible that because of the Akedah, Sarah died. Because we know, Shomer Mitzvah lo yeda davar ra. Right? Somebody that is keeping Torah and mitzvot should not get any bad thing. Right? In the Kohelet it says. ואיך אפשר שמניסיון כזה יצא דבר רע? How is it possible from this type of test that Abraham was tested by Hashem, right? Something bad will happen eventually. Like the end result is, yeah, okay, Yitzchak, Abraham, a spiritual event, and it's very profound and high level, but then what? He lost his wife because of that? Very weird. Because Sarah was in such a higher level of prophecy more than Abraham, right? Rashi explained when Sarah wanted to kick out Ishmael because what he was doing to Yitzchak, Abraham was very upset. You know, he didn't want to do that. But then Hashem told him, everything that Sarah will tell you, you have to do, because she had a prophecy, she had a vision, she understood that Ishmael should not be there. Right? So how is it possible that Avraham and Yitzchak were past the test, Amdu b'nisayon, but Sarah, when she heard about it, she was like in shock and she died because of it. It's impossible. יש לבר העניין, we should to explain. והנה אנו מבקשים בתפילה, right? So we have a part in the davening, והסר שטן מלפנינו מאחורינו. Remove the devil right from in front of us and from our back. He said, ראינו שישנו עניין שטן מלפנינו. There was like the evil inclination or the external one, the negative things in front of us, which, like before us, right, in front. The Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, is trying to overcome, to conquer us before we do a mitzvah. And before we do a mitzvah, it's trying to prevent us. We should not do the mitzvah, you know, we have something else to do, we have to go to work, we have to do this, we have to do that, right? It's all good things, but he's using very good excuses, so we should not do the mitzvah, and we should not pass the test. Right, and we learned with the Midrashim that Avraham Avinu, when he took Yitzchak to the Akedah, right, there was so many tricks, right? He came and he pretended to be as a person. He came to Avraham and he's telling, you know, full old man, Hashem promised you that the inheritance will go to Yitzchak. And now you're going to slaughter him? It doesn't make sense. You have to keep him alive, right? It's your imagination. It's not really Hashem talking to you. Maybe you're schizophrenic. Who knows? Maybe you took drugs. Maybe something happened. Maybe you had a stroke and you're imagining everything. It's not Hashem is telling you. And then he went to Yitzchak, right? Said, Yitzchak, your father, you know, don't do this, don't do that. You know, you don't know where he's taking you for, right? Then he pretended to be like a river, and they walk in the river until the water came to the nose, right? So the evil inclination was really trying hard to prevent them, right? And then that's the Satan in front of us. But then there is another aspect of the Satan which is behind us. That's the overcome of the evil inclination after the deed. After we did the mitzvah, he want to take from us what we already did. By what? Many things he can do. On the way that סיפר מרן אדמו"ר בבית אברהם האחים הקדושים, so he called הרב הקדוש רבי שמלקה מניקולסבורג, והרב הקדוש רבי פנחס מפפדהיים or something like that, I don't know. So first time when they get to the Rav, the מגיד הקדוש ממזריץ' זכותו יגן עלינו, right? It was a תלמיד from the Baal Shem Tov. And the Magid, right, the Rav, explained and he described them for them, right? The סדר העבודה של יהודי, like a day-to-day schedule of a Jew. Okay? You're listening, right, Mordechai, even though you're looking to the other side. So he described them. I need you to be focused. Focus. He described them. Yes, Lee, I see that you're in focus. He described them, the day-to-day schedule of a Jew. He go to sleep, he wake up in midnight, chatzot. He's doing tikkun chatzot, right? With all the tikkunim, the kavanot, he's sitting near the doorpost on the floor and he's crying for the Bet HaMikdash. And then he learned, right? And then he goes to the Nates and he daven and he counted all the things that he was doing, what he's learning in the Nigla and Istar, right? He's learning Gemara, he's learning Pshat, he's learning Kabbalah, and then his preparation for the Tefillah, he's davening Nets, and also the Tefillah. How we go from one world to another, you know, when we do the korbanot, it's the world of doing, and then you have the world of creation, the world of tzilut, right? Shmona Esrei, it's like the highest one, and then you go down, and he explained them all the levels and everything. And not only that he was aiming in his machshava, the Jew that is davening, right? But he's actually, he's in this world. So this is like the day-to-day schedule of a Jew. And then he tells them, but if he had, that Jew that is doing all of these things, a thought that he did something in his work. Oh, I saved the world, I fixed something, right? I did something. Then he said, they're making a ball from everything that he did and learned, and they're throwing it to hell, right, to the depth. And they got excited, like they were, because why? Because this is exactly what he described that they were doing, right? Remember these two Rabbanim, they went to the Magid HaKadosh, right, Miazarich, and he explained them about their work. And they said, oops, it's us. So what does it mean? So yes, they overcome the evil inclination and did everything that they did the mitzvah and everything. But after they did it, the evil inclination is trying to get us into like a gaiva, to be proud of what we're doing, but on a negative thing, because still we need to be proud when we're learning and everything, but not to think that, you know, we are the best. And what we're doing is we're fixing the world, you know, and we are righteous and everything. So he said, this is exactly what the Satan, right, the devil is trying to do after we did something. He couldn't prevent us, so now he's trying to make sure that everything we did will go to him and not to Shem Shamayim, or not to us as a reward. So he said that the devil before and behind us, it's, you know, they're equal danger. Because after what we put and after all the effort, everything could fall into the depth. And according to that, יבואר עניין, right, it will explain also, וילכו יחדיו הנזכר בפרשה. Right, that they work together. By the way, you know, if you look in the psukim of the Akedah, right, it says that Avraham and Yitzchak, they work together, and then Yitzchak asked he said, oh, my father, I see the fire, I see the sword, but aren't you forgetting something? Like, where is the sacrifice? And Avraham is telling him, Hashem will show me this, you will show us the sacrifice. You, my son. And then it says they walk together. So the first walk together was Yitzchak walking with his father, naturally. But after his father told him that he's going to be the sacrifice, they walk together which means that Yitzchak agreed. He had the consent. He agreed, yeah, I'm going to be the sacrifice. So he said, so explain here, Me'ari HaKadosh, in the Akedah, שהיה כדי לעקד מידת ישראל, לעקוד, in Akedah, it's to tie, when you tie something together, right, with a rope, or you're connecting something. So he said, that inyan of the Akedah was to tie together or to connect together the level of Yitzchak in Avraham and the level of Avraham in Yitzchak, right? Because Avraham was Ahava, right? Love. The Kashar Atzmo, and he connected himself with Yitzchak, which was the Yira, the Gvura, right? Strength. And the same way that Avraham attached himself to Yitzchak, to his level, Yitzchak did the same with him. And that's why it says also, and they walked together. They were tied together. Father and son, love and fear, fear and love. Right? And we should say that according to the Derech HaAvodah. What does it mean? Right? As we just explained. That first it said that he took the fire and he took the sword, right, or the knife, and they walked together. ואז ידע רק אברהם, because only Avraham knew about the Akedah, what he's going to do, what's the plan, right? Yitzchak doesn't know. He think his father is taking him to walk in the park, you know, to see the mountain, hiking, right? Oh, what a fun day. We're going to hike with my father. By the way, father, why do you have a knife and a fire and the wood? Like, what's going on here? And his father is telling him, yeah, I have the fire, I have the wood, I have the knife. I'm going to slaughter you. Hashem telling me to do that, and Avraham agreed, right? Avraham agreed. So he said, by the level of love by itself, he couldn't pass the Nisayon, because he's loving his son, you know. You need to be strong to do that, right? Sometimes, chas v'chalila, when a child needs a medication or needs an operation, you know, somebody that only will love his son and will not have the strength to do it, because sometimes we need to do it. But so if you have only love, it will be very soft. It's not going to help the son. So that's why he needs the strength. And as we said, right, we learned last week that when somebody is standing or is like actually now in test, they're taking all his levels, right? כדאית מהבעל שם טוב הקדוש, that they took from Avram all his level. Only the one that he worked by himself, he put an effort had this. And that's why he needed to take for himself. You know, it's difficult to understand, but it is if like connecting himself to his son, he took the level, the midah of the yira and the strength. And by having that strength, both of them, Yitzchak took the love because Yitzchak is a strong man spiritually. He doesn't want to get slaughtered, right? Doesn't make sense. I'm supposed to be the continuance of the generation of Avraham Avinu and everything. I'm not going to die, right? But he took the level from Avraham of Ahava, loving Hashem. Okay, this is what Hashem is asking me to do. I'm doing it. And Avraham, he was loving Yitzchak so much. I'm not going to slaughter my own son. I love him so much. But he took the strength. So he had the strength to do that. And therefore it says, they walked together. Because Avraham attached himself, he tied himself with Yitzchak, and the other way around. וזהו מאן דכתוב, and later in the Akedah it says, אתה ידעתי, right? כי ירא אלוקים אתה. Right? Now I know that you're fearing Hashem. It should say, now I know that you love Hashem, because Avraham Avinu level was love, right? The midah. But it means that, okay, he stand in nisayon. And from that strength, when he attached himself, right? שכלל את עצמו עם מידת היראה של יצחק, they were both connected. So in the second time it says, right? ויאמר אברהם, אלוקים יראה לו עושה לעולה בני, וילכו שניהם יחדיו. So Avraham told him to Yitzchak, Hashem is going to show us the sacrifice. You my son. Right? And that's why, right? Yitzchak, when he knows now that he's going to be the sacrifice, and he understood that in his level, with the strength and judgment, maybe he will have a resentment or he will be able to reject it, and he could not pass the test. Test is to be slaughtered. So he touched himself with Avram. And after the Akedah, right? Ve'ashov Avram el Narav, right? And he returned to the boys, right? Ve'akum v'lechu yachdav, and they walked together. So now what does it mean? It means that first, the evil inclination was trying to prevent them. So Avram is all love. He needs to attach himself to Yitzchak, and that's helped him to pass the test and not to give up. But after he did the Akedah, he was taking the knife, he almost slaughtered his son, actually did a small cut, he passed the test, right? Hooray, hooray. Now the devil is trying the other way around. After he did the mitzvah, right? So Avram now is actually attaching himself, is connecting himself with the Ishmael and Eliezer, right? Why? It says, "Ve'ashov Avram el Narav ve'akum ve'yichu yachdav," and they walk together, right? So not walking literally, yes, that's for sure, but spiritually he touched himself, because עניינו דאחר שכבר ענינו ועד שנתקיים והסר שטן מפנינו, remove the devil from in front of us, because Avraham Avinu was overcoming, conquering the evil inclination. Now the evil inclination is behind him. Now he's trying to tell him, you know, what you did do, it was the wrong thing, whatever. And because that Nisayon was so holy, Avraham was afraid that maybe the evil inclination now will try to push him to regret what he did. And he will have a pniot and zechut adat, or maybe he will be very proud. Wow, you know, I passed the test. I was supposed to slaughter my son, and I was about to do it. Okay, Hashem stopped me. I'm such a hero. I saved the world. I saved Judaism. I saved the entire nation, right? That's Gaiva, right? And he was afraid that it will happen after, because then everything will go to the depth, will go to hell, right? Because now we see that the evil inclination was trying really hard, harder than from the other 9 tests that Avraham were about to test, right? That he was tested with. Because the Nisayon HaAkedah, right? We learned before that we've been tested every day on the small things for a long time, and then we have a big one. In our life, in our period of life, we have many type of Nisayonot on a day-to-day basis, and then like a big one, once in a life or once in a period of time. So Abraham, these other 9 tests were the small ones, and now let's see in the big one, once in a lifetime. So he passed that, right? So he's afraid, and therefore that's what he did. He returned to the boys, right? Ishmael and Eliezer. Why? Because when they walk all together, and Avraham Avinu saw the Shechina on the mountain. Yitzchak saw that as well, right? But he asked Ishmael and Eliezer, do you see what's going on over there? No, it's a nice mountain. He said, okay, fine. You don't see it, huh? You sit here with the donkey. And he took Yitzchak because Yitzchak saw it. So Ishmael and Eliezer, they understood that something very spiritual is going on, and they left behind to watch the donkey, right? So they were depressed. They were depressed because they knew that something divine is happening, and they're left behind, right? So, and they sit there to watch the donkey. So Avraham Avinu attached himself to them, right? He was attached himself, and their heart was broken. So now, when Avraham was attached himself to them, to their broken heart, then fine, he could not be humble, right? When somebody chas v'chalila is depressed, and somebody has a serious issue, then all the other things become nonsense, right? He doesn't care about the type of car he has, the house that he has, everything become like really tafel. So Ishmael and Eliezer understood that something very, very spiritually high level, divine thing is going on with Avraham and Yitzchak, and they left behind. So the heart was broken. So Avraham attaching himself to the broken heart, he is not going to be proud, right? He said, okay, so now according to what we learned, right? So now we understand, going to understand. Right, we should understand, Sarah. So even right after Sarah died, after the Satan, right? So the evil inclination, right? So that Avraham Avinu was attaching himself to the boys and everything, and he's not going to be proud. Now he tried a new trick. To trick him. Because the devil knew, Mordechai, you're listening? It's recorded, right? You don't want people to see you falling asleep. So now the devil know that Sarah is about to die anyway. So he manipulated it the way that when somebody is going to tell her that her son was about to be slaughtered, but he wasn't, then she died. Why? So the whole world will think, oh, she died because of that, to confuse Avraham Avinu. So now he's going to regret what I have done, why I took him, I shouldn't do that, look what happened, I lost my wife, right? And he will be wondering, like, all the good things that he did. Maybe I shouldn't keep Torah mitzvot. I shouldn't give this tzedakah. If I give this tzedakah, I lose the money. Now I have an expense. I need to pay. If without paying this tzedakah, I had money to pay the expenses, right? But the truth was that anyway, she was supposed to die, right? It wasn't like a death that happened before her time. That was her time. She completed her life. And that's why the Torah wrote, Netivot Shalom Chayey Sara. That was their life. That was her quota to live, right? That was her quota to live. To emphasize, why they doubled? To emphasize that these years were the year, not even a single moment more or less, right? And it says, until the son of Sarah didn't set up, right? Sunset. The son of Rivka was rising, because that was supposed to be. This is how it's supposed to be. The quota of her life. And the parsha, right? And now we understand why the parsha of the death of Sarah is attached to the parsha of Akedat Yitzchak, because the devil wanted to look like she was dying because of that. But Avraham Avinu was also passing that test as well. He was not regretting. It says, right? Ve'avo Avraham lespod lesara ve'livkota. He came to for the eulogy and to cry, but in a small chaf, like a small cry. Why? He cried like the way you cry about all people, and not because of a disaster, right? Chas v'chalila. When a disaster happened, right, then people are getting really, really depressed. It's different than when somebody is old or sick, or you know that, look, 127 years, how long the person can really live, right? That's too much. For sure something will happen, right? So it's not a surprise, not something that happened instantly. And he understood that that's the time for her to go, right? And why she died, why her soul left the body, it's not because of the announcement that Yitzchak was taking to the slaughter, right? Because the Gzera, the decree that Sarah needs to die, it was already been determined in the Mishteh Asher Asa Avraham B'Yom Yigamel. So the Zohar brings that it was already in the day when, after 2 years, right? 2 years after Yitzchak was born. That was the time that the Zohar is saying that it was determined for Sarah to die. And the Torah is teaching us, right? Again, this is the infinite learning that we have from the Torah, that there is a devil before us and the devil behind us, right? That is trying to prevent us, and the one that's trying to make sure that even if we did something, that we will regret or will fall into proud. In the life of a Jew, we have tests before we do something, like a mitzvah, or when we not supposed to do something, besur merah, right? To detach ourselves from the bad thing, that the evil inclination is really try with the desires and everything, you know, go, do this and do that. So we need to overcome. Right? But not less than that, from the nisayon before, we have the nisayon after. That after we overcome the evil inclination doesn't give up. It's trying again to bring us in another nisayon about the thought. Wow, let's say that we didn't do something that we're not supposed to do, right? Somebody didn't eat a burger with the cheese. So you say, wow, I'm such a hero, I'm Superman. I didn't eat the burger. Wow, look at me. Okay, that's also a bad thought. You should be proud that you didn't do it, but not to make a celebration and to fall into a zchichut and gaiva. That is a negative thing, right? And that's what the evil inclination is trying to bring us with this thought that we shouldn't do, all right? Or we're paying a tzedakah, we're giving meiser. Oh, why did I do that, right? We shouldn't. Or, oh, that person, he doesn't look like a real poor person, you know, he's a crook, right? No, you give and that's it. Move on. Don't think too much about it after. Because otherwise we'll do against Hashem's will, or from other reasons. Because then he was going to think and have doubts about the good deed that he did. And that's not good. That's wrong. The Torah teaching us that this is also the tricks of the Yetzer. It's also, you know, we should like really think about it the whole time. Because this is what the evil inclination, he wanted to fail Avraham Avinu in this type of thought. But he stand the Nissan. And we need to explain, the Katub B'Teilim, right? It says, Matzil Anim, right? Mechazak Imeno V'Ani V'Yon Megozlo. We're saying it in the Nishmat Kol Chai on Shabbat, right? That Hashem saved a poor person from a stronger one, right? And then another poor person from the one that is trying to steal from him, right? That's the evil inclination. It's the one that trying the first one, and then the other afterward. And he says, "En ani ela bedat." What is a poor person? So poor, we always think about the financial aspect, but no, it's in the brain, how we think about ourselves. And Hashem is saving from the evil inclination that try before and try after, right? The ani ve'evyon goes, no, we are poor. So first one is the poor person that the evil inclination is tried to prevent or to push him to do something wrong. After he didn't do it or he did a good thing, then the evil inclination, the thief is trying to steal from what he already earned. And Hashem is saving us. And this is something that, you know, life is like a video game. You finish the first phase, you get to the second one. And each phase, each level is harder and harder and harder and harder. It will never stop. And I'm always thinking about Yosef HaTzadik, right? So after what he been through, his brother tried to kill him. He sold him to slave a few times. He was with the Potiphar, and then he ended up in jail. He ended up in jail, right? But before he ended up in jail, the wife of Potiphar tried to seduce him, right? And he didn't fail. So you expect that after he passed that test, the Nisayon, which by the way was the biggest one, because it was not only for Yosef, that Nisayon affect or influence our entire nation, that he didn't fail with Arayot. So you expect that after he passed that test, he will have talk shows, fireworks, celebration, everything. No, what happened? He ended up in jail. So a normal person should be actually more depressed even, like, what? Like, I did such a good thing. I didn't fail. I need to be rewarded. And this is what I deserve, to go to jail? So he could be even worse than he was before. But no, he understood. And this is what the Torah is teaching. And we always need to remember, because otherwise, we cannot live our life, because we've been tested the whole time, and the whole time it's difficult. Thank you for listening. And Bezrat Hashem will learn.
That was a good one, a good comparison with the Yosef. That was good.
I use the earbuds, so it's much easier to concentrate on everything, because there's no other noises other directly in my ear.
I thought that you were listening to music. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you were singing.